What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Epic Handshake podcast, the podcast about epic people that deserve an epic handshake. Be sure to check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Stitcher, as well as other podcasting platforms that are available on the web. Also, more importantly, there's a YouTube channel. YouTube, we have all of this content right here, and you can see our beautiful faces. You can actually find this you can find this podcast on Instagram at the Epic Handshake Pod, and then my main account at AZ Gear Guy. So I'm super excited today. I have Leif. He is my good buddy. Known each other for maybe a couple years now, but he can be found on Instagram at 2aguy. That's number 2AGUY. Check him out. But yeah, Leif, super excited to have you, man. Do you want to introduce yourself? Who are you?
Yeah, super psyched to be here today. Like Adon said, I am Leif, like on a tree, 2A guy. So I'm the Second Amendment guy. That's what I call myself, at least on Instagram. Mm-hmm. I'm a Utah native, one of those guys that was a recreational gun owner who then converted to the good side. Dove in head first, and now I would be considered a firearm advocate. So I volunteer time with the Utah Firearms Association, which is a local grassroots organization dedicated toward preserving your Second Amendment rights, specifically to the state of Utah, thus the name Utah Firearms Association.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah, pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm now the face of Defend Supply Co. I'm actually wearing a shirt that we're giving away right now. So,
what's the handle for that?
Defend Supply Co.
So Defend Supply Co. I'll put that in the description below. And if you're watching, you could probably see his shirt right there. So yeah.
Giving this away right now. So
yeah, enter the giveaway.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, man. But I'm super excited to have you on, just because I think in our group, give you guys some background. Leif is, we're in a similar group. We call ourselves the 2A shooter dudes. We're a kind of a big group of Utah residents. There's some that are out of state that we just kind of get together, have range days, bounce ideas off each other, whatnot. And who was it that introduced me to you, man? Was it Logan?
It was probably Logan. Yeah, it was probably Logan.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
I think you and him got added to the group at about the same time.
Yeah. Well, he would always be talking about you and like two other people from the group.
Ah, okay.
So I'm like, I should probably get plugged into this group because,
yeah,
as most of you know, I'm from Arizona, and so this was all new to me. Coming to a place where more guns are accepted. I mean, Arizona's pretty awesome, but Utah, it was more of a tight knit group.
Utah is better.
Utah can be better. Yes, it's dang hot in Arizona, and I'm glad to be here. It's still hot here, but so tell me about just your organization. How did that get started? How did you get plugged into those organizations? What made you start? Let's start with the Firearm Association.
Well, no, let's start first with the group Utah Shooter Dudes.
Good idea.
I actually, when I started to dive into the gun world as an advocate instead of as just a hobbyist, I was having a hard time finding like a network of like-minded individuals that took firearm training as seriously as I wanted to. So I was looking across the web, and what I found was that Instagram actually had a huge network, a huge gathering of gun guys. You would see hashtags like Gunstagram or in IG Militia. That was a huge one for a while. Things like that.
Still
right?
a huge one.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not suppressed by Instagram already.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
So I went to Instagram and I found a group of dudes. So this is Utah, right? We're all members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
At least the bulk of us, right?
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So I found this group of dudes. So first I found this guy named his Instagram handle is Faith Kills Fear. And when I saw that resonated with me. I was like, that sounds strangely familiar. So I start following this guy's account. Ends up he's a skater. I'm a skater. Oh, we got that in common too. So he's big into guns, skates, sick, two things. Third, find out the faith part is actually specific to the LDS church. So I start hitting him up, and we obviously connect because there we go, 3 things in common. That's pretty big in today's world. So he adds me to a group of other gun guys from the LDS church. And so from there, I found my community, right, of gun guys. But I was trying to get out and train more often and was having a hard time finding local dudes. And so I would go to this group and I would just say, hey, headed to the range on Saturday. And eventually we started to get some regular guys showing up, and I felt like I was spamming the group. So we were like, hey, let's split off, start a new group. So then Utah Minuteman actually started the group and then lost interest, kind of disappeared. And so I was like, I'm going to take this, I'm going to own it, and I'm going to build it. And so
I stop you there. I actually didn't realize there was another group before our current group. Like, there's been so many iterations of that group, and I'm glad I entered when I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you were actually toward the beginning of the Utah groups, the Utah specific groups, I should say. So I took over Utah Shooter Dudes and I just ran with it. And we took it from 3 guys to exceeding Instagram's limitations on a DM group. So now we have 2 Instagram groups and then the other groups that you're aware of. And so I was able to take basically a digital online community and turn it into a in-person community of dudes that get together. We train, we talk guns, we have fun, we look out for each other too, though, in case you haven't noticed. Like, the group is super tight knit.
Yeah, and we're all kind of like in different industries too. Like you know, one of them is an owner of a very successful target company that we will feature on this show later on down the road. And there's like, I don't know, we've got mechanics, IT directors. I mean, we've got financial consultants. Like, who else? Like, I work in geospatial stuff, but
yeah,
I mean, that's only so
helpful.
helpful.
So we've got everything, right? We've got medics, we've got gun industry people, and we've got non-gun industry people.
And then a couple military as well, right?
Yeah, a couple of active duty, a couple of veterans. Yep. So like Ryan recently joined the group. You know, he stepped on a landmine in Iraq. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what's funny is we have two amputees in the group. So
yeah, we'll definitely talk about that another day.
Yeah, we don't need to dive into that.
Nope.
So, but anyway, so I was running with this group, and Alex at Trajectory Arms got added to the group because Utah guy, big into guns, obviously. And he hit us one day with, hey, they're trying to pass this law. The Salt Lake County mayor was trying to pass a law that she technically didn't have the authority to do. And he was like, you know, people need to show up to this. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll take my lunch break. I'll head up right now.
For the record, it's Mayor Mendenhall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mayor Mendenhall.
Yeah. Boo. Voter out. So I head straight to where the press conference is supposed to be held, and it ends up being a close press conference, so I can't get in because I'm not press. So they leave me outside. So I'm out there talking to other people. But at that point, Alex was like, whoa, these guys are actually motivated, because Alex is more ingrained in the community than I was at this point. So at that point, Alex added one of the board members of the Utah Firearms Association to the group. At that point, that was my introduction to the Utah Firearms Association. And being who I am, there was once upon a time, I caught wind of a rally that was supposed to happen, a open carry rally that was supposed to happen at the Capitol. And I was like, this is not getting enough attention. If there's going to be dudes at the Capitol open carrying guns, it needs to be huge so that people understand what it is. And so I blasted this thing all over the internet, and I pushed it everywhere I could. And what I did is I plugged every local gun-related company. I tagged them and called them out and said, if you support the industry, you'll be there. But then what I also did is I reached out to all the local gun advocates as well, as like, yo, you guys all need to get on board with this. Let's make it huge.
I remember that.
So that was complicated. We don't need to dive into that. No. But what that did is that showed the Utah Firearms Association of, oh, hey, this guy's actually serious about this. He wants to be involved. So at that point, they asked me to formally join the Utah Firearms Association. So,
and this was the rally that we had in 2020, right? Like right at the beginning of 2020?
Right. Yeah, right before COVID hit.
That's right. Yeah. That seems so long ago.
It feels like forever.
Dude, like I didn't even have like a good rifle then. Like I should have just borrowed one from you.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah.
It's all good.
I did let someone borrow a rifle that day because they're like, dude, I don't have a rifle to carry. I was like, I'll bring one.
Yeah, all good. I mean, it turned out. It was great. I mean, it was definitely a start. I think those types of rallies here in Utah still are pretty fuddy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think with people our generation and younger, I mean, that are getting into guns that are responsible and that are not weird about it. I mean, I mean, I'm all for people carrying guns and, you know, whatever age.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
But I think there's a level of maturity that comes with people that go to those rallies, or that people that go to those rallies should have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So you can tell the difference usually.
Well, and that's so at that specific rally, a bunch of groups got involved, obviously. So there were multiple different speakers. But leading up to the rally, I was like, hey, let's be professionals about this. So I kept posting pictures of myself wearing a shirt and tie saying, here's what I'll wear to the rally. And so that actually, a couple other speakers did end up wearing shirts and ties as well. But in case you can't remember the talks, they preached to the choir the whole time.
Especially that Australian lady.
Yeah, she
was cool.
Out of the gates, dude, she was so good. Like the first 5 minutes, and she closed it at 5 minutes, everyone would have been like, that was the best speech I've ever heard. Yeah. But then she drug it on for another 20 minutes, and everybody was like, all right, we get it. We get it.
And then she did the cold dead hands.
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, but good on her. She's Australian, in the United States, and she's promoting guns, and she's promoting gun ownership. So
yeah,
all the power to her, regardless.
Mind you, I have a small sample size, but every Australian I've met that has moved to America is a gun advocate. Every single one of them.
Pretty much. Actually, even people from other countries. I mean, we have one guy from South Africa, Sheldon.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a baller. He's cool.
And we just added a guy, Alex, to the group. I'm not going to say his full name because his parents still live in China. He was born in China, raised in Australia, moved to America. So, like, going from China to Australia to America, he is a huge gun advocate now, which, I mean, people like to say, like, oh, well, Australia was able to ban guns, but then you look at every Australian that moves here and they're like, I need a gun immediately. Like,
oh yeah,
if I had the option to own one in Australia, I would have.
Yeah, as soon as they get their green card or whatever they need, they get it.
Yep.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So we see a lot of cool stuff, like, in our group, and like I said, we just have a really versatile group, and I think that's, and we're not, super exclusive. Don't misconstrue that. We're not like excluding people. Like a lot of people will have that misconception. Oh, it's only a bunch of white guys. Like, have you seen me? Those on you watching on YouTube, do you see this face right now?
You're clearly whiter than I am.
Clearly whiter. Yeah.
I eat more Mexican food than you. So.
Yeah. I mean, I speak Spanish. I grew up in a barrio, and so I'm like, we're good. We're good. I'm adding some flavor to the mix.
Yeah, we got some spice.
Hey, I mean, Sheldon technically is an African American too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
South Africa.
Yeah, and then we've got Ben.
Yeah.
Ben grew up in the deep South and then moved to Utah. And Ben is solid.
Yeah, I still have not formally met him, but
I've
talked to him a lot.
He's awesome.
I've talked to him a lot. Yeah. So let's move on to Defense Supply Co. So tell me about that. Where did that stem from? Because I had heard you overheard you talking about it to a few people at Utah.
Okay.
And you said it's kind of like motorcycle.
Yeah. So
gun industry.
Yeah. So the idea is, and not to throw shade or anything, but there's a lot of like gun apparel companies that, like Grunt Style, for example. You just see that and you just think like the kid in high school that was a wrestler that thought it was really cool to fight people, like for no reason, over petty high school drama, right?
Yeah. Was that you?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I was the guy that got, look at me. I have a punchable face. So
I don't think so. Yeah.
But you see guys wearing Grunt Style shirts, and like that's like what you reference. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being discriminatory. But when I see those shirts, I'm just like, oh gosh, dude. So that's why when I saw Defense Supply Co., the mantra there is let's be gun advocates. Let's be outspoken about it. Let's do it in a way that makes you feel more like you're joining a hipster motorcycle club.
That's more appealing to maybe non-gun owners that maybe like motorcycles or automotive.
So this is
things.
actually like our most, I don't know, we have a couple shirts right now that are pretty blunt and blatant, but we have a couple other designs that like I look at them like I can't tell if that's guns or motorcycles. So
true.
But the idea there, a couple of guys that are like, they love guns, they recognize the importance of guns. They were like, hey, we need to find a way to give back to the gun community. Let's start a clothing company, but under the premise that we'll use the company to do good toward the Second Amendment community. So the idea, just to let the cat out the bag, so we're doing Instagram giveaways for shirts right now, but very shortly we'll be announcing like a AR upper receiver giveaway, but it'll only be on the website.
Cool.
So
that's pretty awesome.
We're trying to beat the quote algorithm right now by we're not going to show off or promote any gun giveaways on Instagram, so we can continue to sponsor and promote posts. So what we'll do is we'll give away shirts on Instagram to generate traffic toward our website. And then at the website, you'll see a banner that basically says, hey, every dollar spent on the website or whatever it ends up being is an entry toward winning whatever that time period's giveaway is. This first one will be an AR upper receiver. Next one could be a Glock. It's just get a compound from there. The goal is to grow it bigger to the point to where we're like giving away stuff like nods.
Right. Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
You're going to get a sponsor? If somebody's watching this, which I highly doubt, but if you're watching this, please sponsor.
Yeah. Defense Supply Co.
Yeah, please sponsor them.
So I do have a handful of connections in the industry already, and I'm trying not to like cross any lines
or burn bridges or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So with this first giveaway, I personally am going to buy the upper receiver with my money. I might get like a homie hookup on some of the parts, but the idea is I'm going to buy the upper receiver, and the main intention here is just to those guys are already buying gun apparel. Let's give them a chance to win something back for that money they're going to spend. So
yeah. Win some hearts, man, with a lower receiver.
Yeah, upper receiver first.
yeah. Dude, I'm super excited. So the website, defendsupplyco.com, is that right?
Let me verify that. I should probably know our website.
That's okay. Yeah.
So what's funny is I always get to it by going to our Instagram page and then just clicking on the link in our bio.
And then just looking at the URL there. That's kind of how I am with this podcast. Like I can never say the full name. Like I'm still getting used to like my own skin here. The Epic Handshake Podcast. Like I never can fully get that because it's a tongue twister.
It is a bit of a tongue twister, but it reads well. So.
It reads well. Yeah.
So it's actually defensesupply.co. Yeah.
Okay.
So, So I'm the face of the company. I plan on doing Instagram lives through the Instagram account there, to discuss the giveaways, but also to discuss current gun industry drama or whatever the mumbo jumbo might be, the hot topics, right? It seems like weekly we go through like one or two topics. So
yeah, no kidding. But hey, dude, I love the content that you got. Like, first off, who's doing is it on a phone or is that on a camera you guys are using?
It's been both.
Oh, dude, looks really good.
Yeah.
Right?
So
like if you haven't seen their Instagram, go check it out right now, and you'll see that their stories are always on point. Super, super good quality. So good job, guys.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Defense Supply Co. You've got the Utah Firearms. I mean, what are some other things that you kind of do in your free time? I mean, yeah, we know you shoot, but like, what else do you do?
So I'm a man of many hobbies. So I have this. I'm hyperactive. I have a lot of energy. Right.
We could probably make this podcast to like an hour and a half.
2 hours.
2 hours
minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
So I'm hyperactive, and then I also have this thing where I like finding new hobbies, and then I establish in my mind what I consider to be like the top crux of that hobby, you could say, the most difficult part about that hobby, and then I want to accomplish that. And then as soon as I accomplish that, I start to lose interest and move on to another hobby.
Right.
So
it's kind of how I am.
I have one constant in my life. I've been skateboarding since I could walk.
That's pretty cool.
So that's my one constant. I'm not as good as I should be for having skateboarded for almost 30 years now.
But it's a hobby.
It's a hobby, exactly.
So you're not pro or anything. So.
Yeah, I never planned on making money off it or anything. It's a huge stress release for me. It's fun, man. What's funny is so the skate park here, they keep the lights on all night. So on the weekends,
nice.
I'm hyperactive. I put my wife and kids to bed. I say that like I'm tucking my wife into bed. Go to bed.
Good night.
So they'll go to bed and I'll go skate from like 11 p.m. to 2 to 3 to 5 a.m. And it happens probably like every other month where some like 17-year-old, 18-year-old's like, hey, man, want to play a game of skate? Like thinking they'll challenge the old man at the skate park. And like, not to toot my own horn, but every game of skate I've played, A, I've won, B, I've landed new tricks that I've never tried before.
Oh, yeah.
So I just have a good base set up, so they'll do something and I'll be like, how'd you do that? They'll explain it and then I'll try it and I'll land it. And sometimes I won't. I'll get a letter, but whatever. It's fun. So
well, if you can see on the wall behind us, if you're watching on YouTube, those shelves are actually skate decks.
Yeah.
All skate decks. Dude, that's pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah. It's pretty classy, right?
Yeah, it's pretty. You wouldn't notice if you didn't like look up close or you didn't know what you were looking at.
Yeah, my wife
awesome.
did a killer job of dressing them up. My mom comes over and she's always like, "You found the only woman that would have the patience to let you hang skateboards on the wall."
Worth it. Worth it.
Yeah, my wife's good to me. I've got guitars and a rifle hung on the wall in the master bedroom. So,
oh yeah.
So she's good to me. But so that leads into other hobbies. I've played the guitar for a while, but that's kind of one of those ones where I established in my mind what I considered to be the apex, reached that, and kind of fizzled out. Current hot flavor is mountain biking. I dove into that head first instead of learning to ride trails and stuff first. I Googled dirt jumps near my house and then went and found the biggest jump I could and started throwing my body at it.
Are those early YouTube videos I can find on your channel?
Yeah. That's me literally like showing up at this big jump that other people told me they were scared to hit and being like, oh, I'm just going to try it.
What? Have you broken any bones?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
What have you broken?
You want me to go through the whole list?
I mean, in a nutshell, the top 4 biggest breaks.
Let me just go top down. So collarbone, separated AC joint, ribs, rib. So this wrist, skateboarding, mountain biking, all that stuff, I've broken like multiple times. This pinky.
Oh my gosh, dude.
That pinky's very straight, obviously.
Oh, it looks like a Mike Pappas finger.
I know, huh? So I've actually broken multiple fingers. I've broken this wrist. It healed broken. You can't see it on the camera, but it actually healed broken. I hairline fractured my femur. I broke the growth plate in my right ankle while I was still growing. So it's actually, my right leg is a 1/4 inch shorter than my left. Yeah. When I was 19, I broke and dislocated every bone in my left foot. That took 3 surgeries to fix and 8 months.
That sucks.
It was the week I was supposed to go on my mission.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I broke my big toe on my mission. I've broken other toes since the mission. Recently,
did you stub them though?
No, it's always been like heavy objects landing on them.
Fair. So, construction industry.
Yeah. And then the most recent one is I hairline fractured my heel. So, yeah.
Dang, dude.
Top down. I think I missed a couple, but
yeah, you probably. Well, at this point, I'm just. What haven't you broken?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So have you felt that nowadays? Like, are you feeling that? Like, how old are you?
So I'm 33. Okay. What's interesting is I had arthritis in both wrists. Oh my gosh, right? Like, dude. This one doesn't even like bend as much as this one now. You can see like it maxes out. Man. But what's interesting is one of my other hobbies was rock climbing. And so I established what I consider to be like better than average. And through rock climbing, the arthritis in my wrists, what's interesting is studies say that rock climbing should cause more arthritis in like your digits.
Oh, for sure.
But the arthritis in my wrists went away by rock climbing. So
because you're using like all the other muscles around that, right?
Yeah. From what I understand, obviously rock climbing's full of like granola, hippie, tree hugger type people.
Except for Ben.
Except for Ben
and Sheldon.
And myself and Sheldon. Yeah, we're the gun climbers. What's funny is every time I meet a climber that shoots, they're always like, "Oh, dude, there's not many of us."
No, there isn't, dude. I went to Utah State University, man, and it was all 100% granola.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. That's what you get.
Yeah, it's whatever.
But so I met this guy that studied Chinese medicine. He was telling me arthritis is blood flow issues actually, and he was like, "Oh yeah, by rock climbing, it restricts blood flow, but like a huge portion of rock climbing is focusing on being able to breathe slowly and control your heart rate. So like when your natural reaction would be to get scared, you have to train yourself to stay calm so blood flows through your arm still, so you don't get the lactic acid buildup and get pumped, we call it.
Right.
So he was like, hey, by getting that blood flowing again, he was like, yeah, it's causing additional damage to your fingers, but your wrists are getting blood flow they didn't get before. It's opening them up.
And I think I'd rather have like damage in my fingers than my hands and my wrists. Because I mean, that's kind of everything. Because I mean, you could have straight fingers and still kind of like do stuff and hold things.
from so in my younger years, I worked construction, right? Like manual labor. And there were days where part of construction is, hey, see the stack of 2x4s? We need them moved over there by hand. And so, like, A, you're physically active all the time, but B, like, that gives you a ton of opportunity throughout the day to just feel what hurts. Oh, yeah. And back then, my wrists hurt, like, all the time. So it was like a normal thing for this wrist to just start, like, locking up and hurting. So,
dude, like, that's insane. I actually didn't know that because, the extent of my injuries in my life, dude, I've never broken a bone in my life.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
Dude.
I've sprained things. I've pulled muscles.
Yeah.
You know what? Never broken. But I've never, like, been big into, rock climbing or, I hike a lot. That's for sure. I do other things, I guess. But nothing super physical to where I'm like, I'm going to go off that jump risky. And nothing risky. That's it right there. But dude, that's insane. So, does that affect your shooting at all? Obviously not. I see you all the time. All you need is your trigger finger.
Well, so that's complicated. Shoulders. I'm now at the point where the thing holding me back the most in shooting is actually the speed of this finger. Yeah, that's as fast as I go. So my splits are super consistent, but like you take Alex from the group, tall, dark, and handsome Alex, and his splits will be a tenth of a second faster than mine every time. AR, pistol, all of the above.
It's because he's over 6 foot, man.
I know.
He's like a beast.
There's something about being tall that just like speeds this digit up.
Something, dude.
It's not fair. All you tall people.
I know. I look at him. I'm like, hi, Alex.
Every time I think I say it to him every time. I forget how tall you are.
Yeah, I say that same thing. I'm like, and then you also say, I forget how handsome you are too.
Oh yeah, dude. The group,
no, you can't really forget.
Dude,
that.
The group average is so high because of all these like you got Bert, Kenny,
true.
Alex. Like you meet them and you're just like, how are so many of these dudes so attractive? Gosh, dang it! I don't want to. I need to quit introducing these people to my wife. They're making me look bad.
Well, whatever.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah. So all those injuries, shooting. So with shooting, as we've been in the group, we've had to train a lot of people coming in. We've got a lot of new shooters, a lot of new people into this group. I guess my question is like, what are we going to invite? Do we want to invite more people? With like newer people, like do we want to invite?
So
like we want a huge spectrum, but
So the original goal behind the group was to find like-minded dudes that took training as seriously as I did. And then what I discovered from there is there's a lot of these niche guys. There's a lot of gatekeeping in the firearm industry, right? So you'll meet guys that are like really good shooters that don't want to help you learn at all because they're like, I had to earn this. I had to earn this through whatever it was, whether it's paying for training or getting paid to be in the military, whatever it is.
We'll talk about that in a second. I want to pick your brain on that subject.
So for me, the original motivation of the group was to find like-minded dudes that took training seriously, but then it kind of transitioned to, okay, I want to find like-minded people that take training seriously or want to take training seriously and let us as a group A, help each other to get better, but B, be able to take these noobs who all of a sudden get the bug like I did and be a home for them and be like, hey, let's right now you need to do a lot of dry firing at home, but let me show you how to do that to streamline it. Because like my progression, dude, the first class I took taught me some bad habits that took me 2 years to get over. Even though I would I'd watch YouTube videos, I'd read articles, I'd find actual subject matter experts saying what you're doing is wrong, but I had trained it because I took this class and I was super motivated and they taught me these things.
And they treat it like gospel too, that's how you shoot and do not deviate from that.
Only way to do this.
Yeah, dude, it's a plague, man. That happens a lot in training classes, which I get. If they're super established, sure, maybe they have a way that works for them, but yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. But actually, to jump back into what you were talking about of those people that assume that only certain people can carry certain things. I mean, there's been a lot of controversy in the gun industry lately of, people coming out and say, oh, you get these LARPers on, at the ranges and they're making fools of themselves. What's your opinion on that? Because I'll kind of banter with you on that one.
So I've gone full circle with that one. When I first got serious about training, it was all about concealed carry. And so I would see the, quote, LARPers at the range, and I would even call it out, like, those dudes are just LARPing.
Same.
Like, it's
like
the
they
same
look
thing.
ridiculous.
It's the same thing as the dudes dressed as wizards at the park casting
playing
spells
Quidditch
on their homies. Yeah.
Or you've seen Quidditch where they have, like, the brooms between their... I mean, it's kind of cool, actually.
It's a big thing. They actually have, like...
Especially in Utah County.
National playoffs. Yeah. So... Originally, I was like, those guys make the industry look bad, and when people show up to the range and see that, it's off-putting and things like that, because that was my perspective at the time. But obviously, the more I grew, the more I realized, like, it's important to train that way. But not only that, it's super fun. It's fun to LARP.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm not even ashamed of saying it's live action role play. Like,
oh yeah. But I mean, you're building a skill that could save your life or somebody else's life.
Yeah. So one of the things we do at the group when we get together and train is we'll take an incident that we've all seen on YouTube where, so for example, the Texas church shooting. When that happened, I gathered all the details, how far it was, how fast he had to make the shot, things like that, and we recreated that situation at the range. And that is literally the definition of live action role play.
Oh yeah.
But the training I got out of that, in my mind, I can't replace that. I can't do that any other way other than LARPing at the range. So now I'm that guy that I used to hate who shows up at the range, and I'll even kit up. I'll have plate carrier, battle belt.
At this point, nods.
Yeah,
too.
Nods. Yeah, I have nods now.
Night vision goggles.
I'll train with the nods on. I'll have the helmet on, and I'll get sweaty. It'll be hot, but I'll be out in the desert with my buddies having a really good time, and B, solidifying my skills as a gun guy. So,
dude, like I being in this group, I think I've learned more in the past year and a half than I have my whole life. I mean, my dad is a veteran, but he hardly ever, I mean, the extent of my experience with guns with him was literally seeing his revolver underneath his mattress and him pulling it out when there was some like shooting in his neighborhood, like a drive-by shooting. And I'm like, cool. Okay. And then like I got into it myself, but like in this group, dude, there's such a wide variety, and I think we all hold each other to a high standard.
Oh yeah.
And I keep circling back to this group because I'm like, I've just made some really good friends, and we've established really good relationships with the community. We've brought a lot of new people in. We've given a lot of these new shooters really sound advice. Still to make their own decision on what they want to do in the gun industry, like how they want to carry, what they want to carry. I mean, if somebody wants to carry a high point, sure, but we'll probably we'll dissuade them from doing that. The
only high point you're allowed to carry is the yeet cannon, because I want to be able to say yeet every time I see it.
The one that has the $100 bills printed on it.
Ooh, that one's forgivable too.
That's very forgivable.
That's the definition of Gucci.
Yeah. Hashtag Gucci. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I've learned so much from this group, and every time I go, I'm like, I just want to, like I said earlier, we hold each other to a high standard, whether we say it or not. And I go and see these guys shoot. Like when Alex, he does the 1R1s or he's running drills. I mean, I'm really impressed. I'm like, I want to get to that point. And I think if you live in a state where you can establish those types of relationships with people, like-minded people. I mean, even if they're not necessarily like-minded, if they're on the fence, even on the other side of a whatever spectrum you're looking at, try to break those lines and bring them in, invite them to a range day where you're
bring them into the fold.
Bring them into the fold, but make sure that you have a good standard of excellence, so that way you're not making dumb mistakes, rookie mistakes, and things like that. I mean, that would be my advice. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to add on to that, there's a lot of dudes that will join our group and then be like, hey, I'm leaving the gram because I'm sick of all the, they shadow ban my account, or I'm sick of them silencing us, whatever. In my mind, it's Instagram's where I found this community. Instagram still has a huge community, but also Instagram's where you're going to find those guys that are dabbling, that are ready to be converted. to being full-on advocates
Oh, for
instead
sure.
of just hobbyists.
Or
So
maybe they just don't know where to start.
yeah, so hang on the gram, be a good example to them, and also be that open door where they reach out and say, hey, where do I find someone to train with? Be that guy that's like, yo, come train.
Yeah. And also just, be assertive and look for training classes in your area. Like I said, each person's going to teach differently, and they're going to maybe teach habits that you won't know are bad until a year, 2, 3, 5 years down the road. So, but still, I always tell people, I used to work in a gun shop. When you buy a $500 to $1,000 gun, spend that same amount on training. On other, small little one-day pistol courses or rifle courses, CQB courses, things like that. It makes all the difference. It really does. I mean, one of my first classes that I ever did was with U Tactical here in Utah, and it was when David Costa was still alive. God rest his soul. Good guy.
Yep.
But he taught some really cool stuff, and that's just a really good organization. Hopefully we can have them on the show in the future. But yeah, I mean, he said it's all about mentality. Everyone has the right to defend themselves. Everyone has the right to liberty, to freedom. And if you need a firearm to do so, that's your prerogative. That's something that you should be able to do. And so I think that's kind of the role of our group. I think Defend Supply Co. That's kind of your mission too, reaching out to those people in those other niche groups that are out there. And I just find that if you want to start a community like that, you can do it. It just start small. It'll grow. So
yep.
Yeah.
If I could tack onto that just a little bit, I forget the exact terminology we had the other day in the group, but it was really good. It was skeptically open-minded, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
So it's the idea of be teachable, but be skeptical of everything you hear in the industry.
Correct.
So if somebody says this is the right way to do it, be open to that advice, but be skeptical of it at the same time. So never close your mind, but never leave it fully open to where you're manipulatable. So that way you can take all these classes, and instead of taking everything as gospel truth, or instead of thinking the entire time like, oh, I know a better way, be humble, but at the same time be cautious so that you don't do what I did, which was get some bad shooting advice and then ingrain that into yourself because you were really excited about it. But don't ever be that guy that thinks he's the top, because there will always be someone better than you. Always. Even guys who professionally are gunfighters, there will always end up being somebody better than them.
Oh, for sure.
So there's never going to be an end-all be-all. There will always be new information to help you get better. And so don't ever reject that opportunity.
Yeah, that's good advice. And, and that kind of falls under, weapon choice too. I mean, there's, my Walther may not be great for Leif, although he's pretty proficient with a lot of different firearms. I mean, it works both ways. I may not like how he's set up his Glocks or
CZ.
his CZs. Yeah, yeah, that's right. You carry a CZ. What do you CZ? What?
P10S in the summer, P10C in the winter, and a P10C/F that's been chopped. Ooh. Yeah, that one's my that's my favorite carry, but she's chonky, so
she's pretty.
Yeah,
big. Yep.
Yeah, she's thick, but she doesn't get as much carry time because the barrel's like.
I was carrying a Staccato P for a good little while there. It's super uncomfortable.
I was gonna say the weight pulls your pants down nonstop. You get used to it, but heavy guns.
Well, when you're a little thicker too, it helps, but it also kind of hurts.
I have no relation to that, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. Yeah, there's some chunky guys in the group, big thick boys in the group. That's funny.
Yeah, I can't relate. Sorry.
Boys.
That's
okay. There's like really skinny boys in the group too.
Yeah, they're when I meet guys that are skinnier than me, even I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Wait, like what's it? Carson in our group.
Carson's skinny.
He's super skinny. Anyway, I don't know.
The other day he told me he had a dad bod. I was like, what?
I have a dad bod. Yeah, it's the broad shoulders and the belly. but whatever.
Sit up straight.
Hey, I don't know why I got into that topic. Sorry. Let's move on to something else
That was
here.
a good sidetrack.
Yeah, but so I still haven't gotten to my point yet. So those we were talking about those people that have been dissuading other people from LARPing at the range, whatever. I wanted to touch on that a little bit more. So you got people like what's his name? Was it not Tim Kennedy? It's the guy that just
His
came.
homie.
Yeah, his homie.
Dakota Myers.
Dakota Myers.
Yeah.
He was a hot topic for a little
He
bit.
is
Are you
spicy
okay?
right now.
You okay to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I worked with a lot of for those that don't know what I do, so I'm a GIS manager, geospatial. I create maps. I do a lot of digital mapping for the Utah Army National Guard as a civilian, and I rub shoulders with a lot of people in that realm. Veterans, people that have been in the service for a long time, people that are currently active. And then, my dad, he was a Marine. I've got various uncles in that served in Vietnam. My dad was a Vietnam veteran. And so I've heard a lot of different things, and I've been asking their opinion. I even have a good friend, who he was actually in boot camp during 9/11. When 9/11 happened, he was in boot camp, and he was telling me like, what, why would I want to restrict that? He's like, if I'm unarmed in whatever situation, I want somebody else or my buddy who is armed to help me out. I would never want to restrict somebody from buying a plate carrier. It kind of goes back, circle back to where I was talking about, what I was talking about earlier of we all have the right to defend ourselves. And it really makes me sad that people like Dakota Myers is going to come out and say something like that. And then he starts saying we're all, pussies and things like that, and saying that, you get these guys are whining about all this stuff. I don't know.
So somebody that fought for you to have the right to be free is then thinking he has the right to dictate how you use that freedom.
Yes.
So the military topic has always been spicy in the firearm industry. Mm-hmm. There's always been this stigma of like, did you serve? And then those that did serve always have this like attitude toward people where they're like, what? Don't tell me your cop out was that you have asthma. Like they'll throw shade at other dudes for not serving who will say like, oh, I didn't serve because I had asthma. I
was medically disqualified or whatever.
I have feelings about all of this because I'm a severe asthmatic. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
I've been hospitalized for it, actually.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, that's fine. But anyway, had I truly wanted to join the military, I could have found a way in. But I didn't want to. There was zero parts of me at the age of 18 that was like, I want to go serve my country.
Yeah, same.
Is there something wrong with that? No. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the purpose of America, right? Is those that want to serve the country can. Those that want to go to medical school can go to medical school. Those that want to be construction workers can be construction workers. You are free to choose your path.
Right.
Your position in life is not determined based on the fact that your dad was a general, so that means you have to be a general because you were born to a family where your dad was a general and his dad was a general and his dad was that's
so on and so forth.
That's how the world was pre-America, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So for me to have somebody fight for my right to be whoever I want to be, to then tell me that I don't have the right to be him because I'm not him, I'm like, well, who the flip are you to tell me? Are you the freedom police? Are
you the dictator of the LARPing states of America? Like,
so
chill out.
So the whole Dakota Myers situation, I laughed at it. I was like, dude, like, A, you have the right to say whatever you want. You have the right to believe that. But B, it's kind of a double standard of you to be like, I fought for your freedom, so don't exercise it.
Yeah. Well, at least you got to date Sarah Palin's daughter. I mean.
Yeah, that means something to some people, but some of us it means nothing.
Means jack to me. Like, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, dude, like it just sucks to see that, and I think the majority of all the military men, servicemen and women that I've met, that know I like guns, that I have a plate carrier, that I have certain equipment that even ex-military don't have. Yeah. They're like, dude, that's great. Let's go shoot. Let's do it.
Dude, the other night, Born, he's in the group. Sounds like he's from Born Identity, but so his name's Born. He's he was active military. He trained with nods. And so he goes, hey, can I look through your PVS 14? I was like, sure, dude. Hand it to him. And he goes like this. Looks up the stars, smiles, and goes, oh, my gosh. This is way better than the crap I had in the Army.
Yeah, dude. Mil-spec is not the best.
Well, it
Always.
is when it's new.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
The tube he had was probably, beat on by 20 dudes in the Army. But here he was so hyped about it. He was like, oh my gosh, this is a great tube. Like, dude, your nods are sick. I'm so happy for you. So here you have the contrast of, you guys shouldn't have this gear because you didn't serve. And then you have this other guy who's like, dude, I'm really happy you have this gear. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah.
And then you get, same with Dakota Myers. I mean, he's pretty decorated, and so like
Medal of Honor, isn't he?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, pretty prestigious. And what my question always is, you did a lot to serve your country. You did a lot to preserve my freedoms as well as your own. But what are you doing now? That's my question. What are you doing now?
Ooh.
And if you're hurting the industry that you say that you're part of, that, like you said, that's a double standard. You can't do that. And I mean, I think now more than ever, because of cancel culture, we're getting so many companies and people that are just getting canceled by themselves.
We eat our own.
Yeah, big time. And I think you can find that in a lot of different industries, but more so right now in the gun industry, because it's such a hot topic.
Yep.
It's been a hot topic for over 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
so look at one of the other hot topics right now of Lucas Botkin T-Rex arms and game dropped by Mod Light.
Yep.
So here you have people A, wanting to cancel T-Rex arms because Mod Light dropped them, but B, you have people wanting to cancel Mod Light because they dropped T-Rex arms. And even Lucas came out and was like, hey, there's nothing wrong with Mod Light. They make a great product, but they're dropping us. So A, he did something super cool and just lost money on that gear. Sold $100,000 worth of lights in like in under an hour. Like, it was insane. But we eat our own, right? And it's always kind of bothered me because in my mind, it's the more people we can get to dive into things the way I did, the better. So the more suppliers we have, the better. The more industry people we have, the better. So like, talk about military dudes and being active. What are they doing now? One of the guys, what's his name from 13 Hours of Benghazi?
I can't remember his name.
John Tig.
Yeah, John something.
Yeah. He's active in the community. He works for a firearm company. He is out actively trying to spread the truth of well-armed Americans. Like, good for him,
Yeah.
He doesn't care for your drama. He doesn't care to tell a story even. He just cares to say, hey, here's a cool new product. You should buy it.
Yeah.
And I love that. And then you have other guys out there that, like take Legion targets. Their mission is just to get more people shooting quality steel targets so they don't have to shoot trash. Keep the range clean, have a reusable target, and effectively help support people to train everywhere. Like, their mission isn't to eat their own. It's not to kill the competition. It's to further the mission of the 2A of the Second Amendment. And I love it.
Yeah.
I eat that stuff up.
Yeah. And like you said, we need more companies that are just wanting to jump, not even just to make money. Obviously, they want to make money.
Well, yeah, we all do.
Yeah, for sure.
Money
money makes the world.
Money buys nods.
Money buys a lot of things.
Nods.
Suppressors.
Ooh, whisper pickles. Yeah.
We need to pick that page up again.
We do. Oh yeah, we need to get Spencer on that one. Yeah, because he owns the Instagram Whisper Pickles.
Whisper Pickles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check that out, by the way.
I might have to tag him right now.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, but since you lost your train of thought, should we do a mid-podcast selfie?
Mid-podcast selfie. We for those watching on YouTube, we probably look like really, really weird.
Wait,
but
I'll show you.
Yeah,
mid. Can you see that? So much glare.
Yeah, so much. Sorry, we're right in front of a window.
I'll post that and tag the podcast.
Send it to me and I'll pop it in the video too.
Yeah,
if you're not watching on YouTube, seriously, you need to be watching on YouTube. I'm not the most expressive person ever, but you can at least see the dialogue here. But
and at the same time, I went off on this earlier, but yeah, YouTube tries to silence us,
Mm-hmm.
and the way we fight back doesn't have to be finding new platforms.
No.
It can be in the form of saying, I will only watch gun content on YouTube. As in, I'm not going to watch other videos on YouTube. In fact, shameless plug, I don't know the company. I haven't vetted them. I don't know who owns them. But there's an app you can download called Advanced Kit that will allow you to look at YouTube videos without ads. And so if you're going to look up like a Mark Rober video, highly recommend his channel. If you're going to look up a Mark Rober video, do it through Advanced Kit. But then if you're going to look up the Epic Handshake podcast, do it through the YouTube app so that YouTube knows you want to support the gun industry, not YouTube itself.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like it's a piece of that supply and demand, like that.
Yep.
The demand is, I want more of that content. And the algorithm says, okay, you want more of that, but I'm suppressing it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Yeah, because this is all you're willing to watch on my platform, so I guess this is all I'm going to show you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's pretty successful. I mean, it's worked. I've seen weird things with the algorithm, and it works.
Yeah,
it works. And
same
then
with Instagram. So
yeah, Instagram. Yeah, dude. Like, don't even get me started on that. It's ridiculous, dude. But yeah, and I've actually had people tell me like they don't believe that Instagram or Facebook or any of the social media platforms are actually suppressing gun content. Yeah. Like I have a really good friend that he's like, that doesn't happen. So I've had to show him like, hey, this is my post on Instagram. This is what Instagram said. Oh, it violates community guidelines. And I show him the reason. And it's like, oh, selling a firearm. No, I barely sell stuff in person, let alone on the web, on Instagram. I'd never sold anything really on Instagram. Anyway, but I don't know. It's just a weird time for social media right now. And I mean, it's the best time for social media. Like
it's the best and the worst time.
Yeah.
So our technology evolved faster than we did as a species.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure you remember being a little kid and your mom would be screaming at you, you need to pick your stuff up off the floor, I'm going to spank your butt. And she'd be like mid-scream and the phone would ring and her tone of voice would instantly change. Hello?
Hi.
This Anderson residence? Or whatever it was, right? That was a common courtesy we had developed. That was us being courteous. And this advanced faster than we did as a species, so we haven't evolved with it. So we don't have the common courtesies of social media yet. We haven't developed those yet. So
what do you mean by common courtesies?
I mean, it goes two ways, right? It goes to A, the way we treat each other, B, the way we use it, C, the way the social media companies treat us.
True.
It goes every direction, right? So right now, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Google, all these companies are making it up as they go because there's no expectation of when somebody sneezes, it's commonly courteous to say bless you.
Mm-hmm.
That's an expectation we just have. Or back in the day with chivalry, it was a man and a woman approach a door at the same time. Well, the man's going to open the door for you. That was a common courtesy for centuries where it was just expected. It was expected behavior. It's expected. So in my mind, an expected behavior of this thing, if you're stepping into a meeting, A, it goes on silent. B, if you're talking with someone in person and you absolutely have to take a phone call, step outside. You don't have to spam them with your phone call because they could be carrying on a separate conversation. There's no need for you to sit there with your phone talking really loud. So, but anyway, that kind of takes me off topic. So common courtesies of social media, though, I'm interested to see what they become. The only problem is like I said, right now, Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube, they're all just deciding what they are instead of letting the community come up and say, hey, we want to live to higher standards, and part of those higher standards might be free speech, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But part of free speech is us behaving ourselves. So, even people that like to say
chivalrous, civil.
People that like to curse, for example, it was common knowledge that if you approached, say, example, you had to go to court, you had a speeding ticket or whatever, some minuscule thing you had to go to court, you didn't curse in the courtroom.
Right.
You didn't curse at church, things like that. So why is it okay to curse on Instagram?
Yeah. It's like like I always say, like, not enough people get punched in the face anymore. Like if you were to say most of this, if you see most of the stuff, most of the comments on Facebook, on a really controversial issue, and people are being nasty to each other, they would. Yeah. I don't. Let me see what I'm going to say, but I'll have another thing to say about that.
Yeah.
So you see these comments, and people are being super nasty to each other. They probably won't say that to somebody in public, but I think now, because it's been so permissive on social media, people are getting bold.
Yeah.
In real life.
They're popping off in person.
You saw that one video of like those neighbors that were fighting for a long time. I don't know if you saw them. They were fighting for
shoveling snow.
Yeah. The neighbor shoveled some snow into their driveway just to piss them off. And I think they had been going at it for a long time before this.
Yeah, several years from what I read.
Yeah, and the neighbor must have had it, and he goes and kills his neighbors. And I'm like, dang. Like where have we gotten to? I think he would have definitely done it whether or not he had a firearm. I mean, he would have definitely did something.
Oh, he was enraged.
He was enraged. He wasn't mentally there. But like, my point is, we're getting to that point where people are speaking their mind in public, not being chivalrous and not being polite, kind people anymore. And it's
absolutely,
and we're seeing that a lot, and it's really scary.
Yeah.
And so, part of the reason, I'm not going to ever go out of my way to piss somebody off, or if I'm going to hold my tongue in a restaurant, lady is yelling at the server, but there's other people that won't be, and it could really make someone angry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I freaking carry a firearm. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what I'm going to do to make somebody mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I don't know where you're headed next, but let me just interject this real quick. I try to conduct myself on Facebook and Instagram the same way I would in person. So I try to have the energy I have in person, which sometimes is hard via text, right? But at the same time, like, if you get a message from me that says dude, do you hear it in dude, or do you hear dude? Yeah, dude. But the other thing is like arguments, right? On Facebook. One thing that I never see people do that I try to do when applicable, I'm not going to admit this happens often, but it happens, somebody will prove me wrong. And so instead of firing back by changing the subject, which is common practice now, I'll say, you know what, you're right, I was wrong, and now I'm going to think about that.
Right.
It's okay to be wrong sometimes.
It is.
The other thing is when you're having these debates online, we always just, it's the same mumbo jumbo over and over again, right? Like, it doesn't matter what it is. There's all these situations that come up that are always drama, and there's always the same responses of, one example is from my cold dead hands, or another example is, well, if he had a gun, that wouldn't have happened, or another example of that even, we see a lot in the gun industry are arguments against gun control. A well-armed society is a well-behaved society. I've heard that so many times. I once watched someone say it to our state congressman, and she gave him this look, and she was like, what?
Yeah.
And he said it again. She was like, no, I heard you, but have you thought about what you're saying? And he was like, well, yeah, well-armed. And she was like, was the Wild West well-behaved?
Right.
And he had never been asked that question before, and it kind of set him off guard. And I was like, well, okay, so let's not use these cliches to debate gun control
or to prove a point of any kind.
Yeah. Instead, let's find a way to be courteous about the debate instead of just firing off
and trying to and
screw you, you're wrong.
Yeah, and then walk away.
And
like make a point just with that statement.
And then blocked.
Yeah. No, don't do that.
Yeah. So, but what you were saying circles straight back to our technology has advanced faster than we've been able to evolve as a species. And so those common courtesies they still don't exist. And like you said, it's bleeding off into real life. So for me, like I said, I try to behave online the same way I do in person. I'm a bold person in real life. I will, if I think you're doing something that's bull crap, I will call you out in person. I'll say, dude, that's not cool. But I won't do it in a way where I'm trying to hurt your feelings. I'm doing it in a way where I'm like, hey, listen, that wasn't cool. I want to still be friends, so we need to talk about this.
Yeah. Being tactful.
Yeah, tactful and courteous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Dude, well, it's a really, it's really hard because people are losing that, because you can be courteous to them, but will they be the same to you? But I think once you show,
No, they won't.
yeah, probably not. But
I've tried.
Yeah, dude, but like you just have to, it's a kind of a cliche. Kill them with kindness, dude.
Yeah.
It's really, that's the hard part is being kind to them when they've been rude to you.
Yeah.
Like,
but I believe in that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Same. And if you're going to take anything from this, just be a good person. Like be kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't want to end this on such a serious note.
Me serious?
I know, right?
Everybody that knows me is watching this and they're like, how was he serious that long? Like, oh my gosh.
Wow, he's speaking in coherent sentences. Just kidding. No, man.
I love it.
No, it's been good, man. This has been a really good episode. We'll definitely have you on again.
I look forward to it.
Maybe once I get more microphones, we can have other people join us.
Yeah, let's make it spicy. Have somebody on here to contest me.
Ooh.
Call me out on my crap.
Ooh.
That's
okay.
That's when the fun.
Maybe your wife.
That's when the fun.
Would your wife call you?
Don't no.
Okay.
Yeah, she will, but nah. Yeah, my wife is awesome, and yeah.
Okay.
She's my better half because she's better than me.
Fair enough. Yeah, dude. But so like I said before, guys, be sure to check us out on YouTube. Be sure to check us out on all the podcast streaming sites. Like I said, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, whatever else is out there. I just have my client do that.
Can I end this with a cliche?
Yeah, but first,
okay.
Let's plug your stuff again, so that way if people have watched this long.
Oh yeah. Plug my Instagrams.
Plug the Instagrams again.
So Defense Supply Co., Utah Firearms Association, and then 2A Guy. The number 2, the letter A Guy, the Second Amendment guy. That is me. You'll recognize my face because I'm not ashamed to share my face on my Instagram.
It's the mohawk.
It's the mohawk's recognizable even with headphones on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. So
I've been cutting my hair this way for so long that I actually don't know how else to do my hair. So
fair. Yeah. Dude, I always love seeing you in pictures with like state reps. It's always cool
with the mohawk.
And you got a shirt and shirt and tie and all that stuff.
But mohawk.
But yeah. So your cliche. Let's
get involved. You hear that a lot. Everybody, but the way I'm gonna make that not cliche is everybody thinks to get involved I have to email my senator or I have to call my senator and I have to just berate them on how they could do a better job. I'm going to say get involved in the form of what I call missionary work. So don't focus on calling your senator. Focus on impacting your inner circle first, and that will compound. It will snowball effect. So my personal, and some people disagree with this, but my personal pledge is to first my family, second my close circle, third my neighborhood, fourth my city. Then from there it spreads bigger. Right. So by the time it's to a national level, I should have exhausted my resources first impacting you.
Right.
And so when I say get involved, it goes back to what Adam was saying at the beginning of this of be that guy that's open armed, that's welcoming, that says, hey, I know you're middle left, but you just mentioned you've considered buying a gun for the first time. Let me do whatever it takes to help you. I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want to tell you you're wrong. I don't want to debate about it. Just let me extend the invitation. If you need help with that, I will do whatever it takes to help you, A, make a wise decision, and B, be well equipped to use that if you have to have it, and C, be safe with it, store correct, whatever. So when we say get involved, let's take that to the next level, and instead of saying get involved, be impactful. Impact everyone around you. That's
super good. Dude, thank you. I actually, really quick, I know that was your cliche. Make friends with people that are not always like-minded too, to piggyback off of that. Those are the people that you're going to win over, quote unquote, win over, and convince that they have the right to defend themselves. I have tons of minority friends that have come to me that are very not, I guess you could say, right-wing. Yeah, not necessarily conservative. And normally they would be against guns, but they come to me because I've made that impact other places, in my personal life, where they feel comfortable. Hey, I'm a black man living in Maryland. This has happened. Living in Maryland. I work in DC. Or no, he lives in Virginia, works in DC. I want to buy a gun. Let's talk. Politics aside, he wants to defend himself. Like Leif said, be impactful.
Be that guy.
Be that guy.
Be that guy.
This guy.
That guy.
Or this guy.
That guy.
Okay.
No, for real. Be that guy, right? Because I'll only take 10 seconds
You're
to say
good.
this. I once had the most far left leaning friend of mine reach out to me and say, hey, I have a daughter. I live in Utah. That means she will spend time in homes with guns. What do you recommend I use to teach her? Had he not known I was amicable, he never would have reached out to me, and he never would have gotten the recommendation of guns, toys, and that book you can buy on Amazon. It's a great resource for teaching kids about guns.
Right.
I hit him with that. So don't make your inner circle an echo chamber, like he was saying. Be that guy.
Exactly.
Be that guy.
Okay. Be that guy. Be that lady, if we're being correct here.
Be that person.
Be that person.
Straight up.
Yeah.
If you're a woman, your inner circle, oh man, your potential for impact.
It's huge.
I'm actually jealous of your potential for impact of your inner circle, like big jelly.
Oh yeah. So, we're that's all we want. Just be impactful, be a good person. Check out all this stuff. We're super, dude. Like I said, I'm super stoked to have you on again. Let's do this again. But for those listening, be sure to check us out on Instagram. Let's do an epic handshake really quick. Yeah. See, we're getting better at this. But yeah, that's gonna be all for today, and we will talk to you guys next time.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.